Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Football Uncensored podcast with, of course, John Sitton and myself, Rob Kirton, asking the questions. Firstly, welcome back to all regular viewers, listeners, watchers, subscribers, and hopefully a few new ones off the back of the last couple of episodes we've done, and a few shares from yourselves. So thank you for everyone who has. I know there are some loyal watchers who have shared it far and wide as they can. So thank you once again from me. I'm sure John will endorse that. John, how are you, mate? How's
Yeah, all
things?
good. Yeah. Had a nice break. Been back a week. Mind you, probably the weakest I've felt for a long time. I must have caught something on the plane coming back. We ain't been. We went to Cyprus for a break. Like we ain't been for a few years. So um, those that follow me on Twitter and all that know, and have read my autobiography. Then and I'm of West Greek Cypriot heritage. So yeah, it was nice to go back and see the changes, or see familiar things, familiar places. Um, so thoroughly enjoyable break, ready to go. Yeah.
Right. Brand new season. Yeah. The season started, I think, just as you well, the Premier League, sorry. Premier League season started just as you were flying back, I believe,
Yeah, I got
from your
back
break.
early hours of last Saturday morning. So that day, it kicked off that day. And then by the time I've recovered and all that, I managed to watch the thing on the night time and then again on the Sunday, match of the day with the different presenters and whatever. Yeah. Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've got to be truthful. And good start by a few clubs.
Yeah. That's what we're going to look to try and cover in this episode this evening. Focus on a few clubs. We've got a few in mind. West Ham, Newcastle, Spurs, Arsenal, probably making a few notable starts for differing reasons. Let's start with we'll start with West Ham if you don't mind, John. Not a great start if you're a fan of theirs. 8 goals conceded, 2 defeats, two, it's fair to say, not very well received performances from the fan base, judging by social media. But anyway, your thoughts on
Yeah.
West Ham's summer and start, John, if you like.
Yeah, well, I've been saying it for years. Sorry to be a smart ass and the clever clogs told you so again. But I knew the Moyes thing was only temporary. Um, I've been saying for years about the culture of the club, about the smell coming off the pond. Supporters, particularly that neck of the woods, they're not silly. They can do the arithmetic. When you look at the amount of money being invested in recruitment versus the amount of money coming in through gate receipts, Sky money, um, endorsements, memorabilia, etc. Anyway, putting it all together in a package. The managers have been back, but not back to any great extent whereby they want to achieve. My theory is read the culture of the club. They stopped producing their own players a long time ago when they were renowned for it. Um, all the way back to the pre-Bobby Moore era, right up to people like Joe Cole and Frank Lampard Jr. being sold on, Ferdinand, both the Ferdinand brothers, etc.
Yeah.
So they stopped producing their own players, which I think produced a core element with that feeling for the club. Um, like I said, the Moyes thing, I think it looks even better now on paper with what he achieved. Although I knew
Okay.
it was not only temporary. Yeah, I mean, he had what you should get right, really, to put a side together. I might be wrong. I don't know, but like 3 years, something like that. I think it probably everyone comes to the end of their thing, and if you're smart now as a coach or a manager, you should move on like every 2.5 years, maybe. Maybe you got fed up of London. Maybe if you weren't, maybe you got fed up of commuting. And then if they got fed up with him, that's now looking like a very poor decision. This is the second manager since. And when I saw it, when he came in last year, Potter, with his degree in whatever, emotional intelligence, all that, it's just, I don't know how or why that should be highlighted when it's all about. And I was watching. just going off at a tangent, I was watching an interview. They nicked the name actually, Pub Talk. There was Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour interviewing Harry Redknapp, saying it ain't necessarily about coaching; it's about getting the best out of the players, etc., etc. But I've always thought, no coach, no player, no player, no coach. You've got there's a starting point, and the starting point is always the relationship with between a coach and a player, and a coach nurturing a player, turning him into a player, and then it's about mood swings and all the stuff I went through. A lot of players, I should imagine, suffered the same thing. There's got to be a little bit of it in you, because latter day I've been diagnosed with this, that, and the next. OCD, bipolar, on the spectrum for this, that, and that. But I should imagine it's part of your makeup, right? So then comes the human angle and the man management, which I've said I don't agree with. But that was listening to Harry, and it was a very interesting listen. Because he was right up there, probably two-thirds of the way up in terms of the graphic they showed. Graham Potter second from bottom in terms of win rate above. The only one below him is Avram Grant, I think, what they showed the other night in terms of his win rate, which is, and when he went there, you could see. So going back to the original point, of if my memory served me right, I might be wrong, but I've got a lot of dear friends who are West Ham supporters. Um, some of them quite high up the food chain, and they're very passionate about the club. I think I'm right in saying their first game was Aston Villa. I might be wrong. I think it was Aston Villa away. You could see what he was trying to
Sunderland.
do. You could see, say what?
Do you mean this season or his first game when
His
Potts
first game
first took
last
over?
year. His
Oh,
first
right,
game
right.
last year. Right.
You
So
could be right, and you carry
yeah,
on.
the point I wanted to make, you could see what he was trying to do. You could see he'd spent maybe a couple of days with them, 2 or 3 days, working on patterns, getting a feel for the ball, doing stuff maybe that players will enjoy in training. Um, and I think they were, after taking the lead or equalising, I think they were narrowly beaten, right? But you could see what he was trying to do. Now you can't see what they're trying to do. I think they're like a ramshackle, piecemeal, shambolic state. Um, to the extent where it's carried on over from last year, because I think they had not even a new manager bounce. It might have been a new manager one-legged hop. I think like they went up to something like 14th. I think they ended up about 17th, which is exactly where they were. It might have been 16th, exactly where they were when Potter went there. So they never moved, right? And then you look at the lack of recruitment in the summer. You look at the fact that he's playing a back five. They don't know how to play a back five. You look at the mistakes made by, which I've said, uh, he hasn't been taught the game. Wan-Bissaka, he's big and powerful and quick, um, and possibly looks scary when he's coming at you. Um, not for me. Needs to be coached and coached and coached and coached again. Um, having played in that position, what you do is if you've pinched the ball back, you have to make the ground up to become part of an attacking formation and the pattern you're playing to. But what you do, if you've got any sort of football intelligence, what you do is you make sure you've got good established possession. Right, so what they've done, they pinched it back and then they had it pinched back off him and he got caught out of position twice. And Chelsea just played it, swept it across, and someone's come in and side footed it in basically around the back of the centre backs, which again is criminal. Three centre backs, they shouldn't be dissected. And they shouldn't be able to sneak round the back because you got your sole responsibility of the area where you are, and basically you've only got to make two decisions, right? Is it if it's in my vicinity, do I go and attack the ball, close it down? If it's not in my vicinity and it's coming out the middle, do I cover? In which you both should tuck round and form a V. If it's in the furthest one, you play on the slant a little bit. But needless to say, you can't afford to. Uh, you've got to basically your body position. You've got to open your body, and you've got to see the ball and see the man coming in. So there was like having gone 1-0 up with a spectacular goal.
Mm.
Again, it's a player I don't really fancy or fancy him, but not it like that area. He needs to be maybe the main man where they just win the ball back and give it to him. Because I think it's like I've been saying for years. They've either got it right at one end and it's no good at the other. So they've got like a semi decent back line, but no good I said to someone on Twitter a long time ago, pre-COVID even, not enough goals in the side, and then they might have got it right at one end, and then they're lightweight with the supply. Well, looking at it, I think in all three areas they're in trouble, and even the goalkeeper's flapping at stuff now. So yeah, it doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well for West Ham, and this
Yeah,
is very quickly, Rob. I was thinking to myself, well, what's the game plan? What's the business plan? Well, the business plan seems to be um, he'll
it's the
sell it. I
money.
think I don't really I can't really I've got to be careful what I say, but I think he'll sell it. I think he'll sell it um, when he thinks the time's right or when somebody else thinks the time's right. Um, like I say, you do your arithmetic. The money coming in doesn't match. Obviously, you've got to balance the books. There's financial fair play. You should run any football club on a cost-effective basis. People are always going to cheat and try and take shortcuts. Are always going to try and push for glory by overspending and overcommitting. That's a given. But my personal belief is that's why I've always loved Arsenal as a club. Ever since I was a kid, they won't overcommit to the extent where they were renowned at one time for being bad players, not particularly good players, and being very careful with the pennies. Right
Yeah.
now, I'm looking at it. I'm thinking to myself, well, I think there is a resigned, like an air of resignation now. They're resigned to the fact that it's cheaper to get another staff and maybe compensate the staff leaving to the tune of 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million, even 15 million, than it is to go bump, 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 bump and say, like, we'll pay 60 million for him, 70 million for him, 30 million for him, 45 million for him, and 50 million for him. Right. And put together a side, which they're absolutely in no way, shape, or form not got any chance of doing. And to the extent where I think this year, like I said at the back end of last year, they were lucky that there were worse teams. I think this year they could well be in for a very long, very hard season, which could culminate in them being relegated back to the Championship.
Difficult to disagree with your assessment of West Ham, John. I mean, I watched them against Chelsea and saw match of the day. First game of the season, they got tonked 3-0 away to one of said promoted clubs, Sunderland.
Sunderland, yeah.
Going back to what you said about Potter, I think you're right about Villa because while you were talking, I was thinking about it. They played them in quick succession in League and Cup, I believe. So I think you're right with Villa. But yes,
No,
I
there's
see.
no resilience. There's no earning the right to play. There's no one there putting their foot in to be physically dominant and earn the right to play. Or up front like Antonio, very physical. Conversion rate, goals to chances created, very poor. But he was like big and bulky. And he could make it stick, and you could build off it, right? I just don't see that. I just think they're like Chelsea. They folded. They caved. And Chelsea really
Like,
they won in second gear. They won in second gear. It
yeah,
was embarrassing. And you in days of yore you'd have had tackles flying in, just people determined not to be beat, not to lose the ball, not to get knocked off the ball, not to give the ball away, harder to break down, harder to beat in the box. None of this. It's all like loads and loads and loads of ingredients I can go on naming, and it
yeah.
don't bode well.
No, it doesn't.
And what they're going to do now? What's there?
Moving,
3 days left. The deadline. What are they going to do now? Maybe get a lone player in if they're lucky. You've got to get your business done early. And it's like someone said the other night. I don't understand, which is right, absolutely right. I don't understand what we do. We'll will and deal, and I'm going to sell this player, and he's going to be 30 million or 60 million. And then we've got this money, and what I need to do is either replace him, which have it right. West Ham probably need 8, 9 players. They probably need a squad, right? Seriously, I mean, no disrespect, right? What are they doing buying? What are they doing going in for free transfers or players with a like a not a thing when he was perceived as not good enough any longer for Southampton. Ward Prowse, where did he go? He went somewhere, then he went to West Ham. I'm not being funny, like. Yeah, they were always the accent was always placed on young players, youth, the exuberance and energy and vibrance of youth. And you're looking, that's like Dad's army, and you've got to replace a whole squad. That's how drastically bad it looks. And they ain't going to do no business now. So I think they are bang, bang, bang in trouble. And it's like I said, there seems to be no gumption now. And it's all like, yeah, you can stand on the touch line and look very sort of studious and very academic, like he does Potter and all that. But and I don't know what they do in training, but if you look at it, it looks like they don't do anything. And if they do it, they obviously didn't carry any of it out. Because like
No.
you're looking at the basics, just like the willingness to compete and close people down, stop crosses coming in, the willingness to bend your run and get your body in the way, to stop the crosses coming. I think they had one. Um, my memory serves. I might be wrong. I think it's one set piece and four crosses, or two set pieces and three crosses. Chelsea goals. You know what I mean? I mean, that's diabolical. It's diabolical. You just like, and if you're a centre back, you're screaming for protection, and you're not getting any in terms of the fullbacks and wing backs. You should be able to go like as tight as you want, because you know you've got the insurance of three spread out full centre backs behind you. You know what I mean? So like marking on the outside, inside to out, marking inside to out if it's on the right, and marking on the outside, covering and marking inside to out if it's on the left hand side. You understand? It's not rocket science, and it's just your body position. You've got carte blanche to get as tight as you want and compete. And like I said, Wan-Bissaka, what he's got to do, we've got. Hold on. They might pinch it back here. No, what I'm not going to think. I'm not going to march on, gallop on. I'm just going to hold me run just in case. You always um, you hope for the best, but expect the worst when you're a defender, right? And if it gets pinched back, I'm within recovery distance, which he should have been, but twice he won. That shows lack of football intelligence and being able to read the game. I just think he's in the game at the right time. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Big and powerful and quick. Like he
I
said,
think it's
Michael
brought
Owen
out.
on Talk Sport. Once upon a time, you needed it. You needed ability. And I just think like if you ain't got good established possession and you're making the way up the field, then don't make your way up the field to link up and be a wing back. Stay as a defender. And it looks criminal. No protection in front of the centre backs. No one stopping the crosses coming in. Lightweight up front. I mean, I'll give him a pass, Jared Bowen. To me, he's been the only ray of light in the last 3 years.
But we'll move. Damning verdict on West Ham so far this episode. We'll move on and we'll go to a club that I know you've got some close friends and family that hold it in high regard, and a club also in London. People will be unsurprised to hear who have had quite the opposite start to the season of West Ham, and that's Spurs. I know that's another team we want to talk about this episode. Obviously, two wins, 2 games, 2 wins, 2 clean sheets. Home to Burnley on opening day, 3-0, and away to City at the weekend just gone 2-0. What do you make of Spurs early days, John?
Yeah, they
New
got
manager, obviously.
yeah. I remember everyone sort of raising their eyes. I was a guest on Talksport a couple of years back when they do the prediction on the Friday, and this was when Pochettino was in charge. I said, I fancy Spurs 2-0, and they went really, and I said, yeah, and they won 2-0
Mhm.
away at City, right? And they seem very much to have the Indian sign over City, but I just think um, injuries have come back. I don't think he's rocked the boat too much. He hasn't changed too much. He said what he said about players who they were going to sign and never sign. He said, okay, no problem. They don't want to play for us. They don't want to play for me. I don't want them here. We move on. Um, I think he's probably kept instructions very simple, played to their strengths. Um, New lease of life for you, people like your Richarlisons. Um, a chance to basically get your name down as first choice. The rest of it hasn't really been disturbed. This is just, in my personal opinion, my personal thing as a coach and a manager. What I would look for in centre backs, I think they've got the best centre back pairing in the Premier League. So therefore, the whole of the leagues. Um, Van der Ven, a lot of Rolls Royce, lovely size, big unit, very comfortable on the ball, value added premium, sweet left foot, beautiful left foot, blistering pace when he gets going. Then you've got the other one, similar but more physical. As a friend of mine once put it, why one of the reasons England won't win anything, not feral enough. He's part of the hybrid I wanted, going back to previous podcasts when I was talking about players in certain positions with regards to their makeup. And when it come to defenders, um, I said I want the I think I mentioned it before, like almost the cynicism of a South American, particularly an Argentinian. He's feral, he's all over you. Very similar to how I used to play, very uncompromising, very all over you. Um, yeah, just totally tries to dominate his opposite number. Goes for the headers, goes for the tackles, goes through people, goes for balls he maybe shouldn't have, where he's got a chance of getting hurt. All the stuff that I used to do when I was on blob and playing well. Um,
Been given the
so
captaincy this season, I think. Romero as
Romero,
well.
yeah, he has been, yeah, you're right. I think it's a good foundation to build from. And I think like they've basically made a statement, but as we know, it's Spurs, so it's just a case of
Spursy.
let's wait and
Yeah.
see. Yeah, I mean, you don't know. Maybe he can keep it going. He perform absolute wonders at Brentford. They There's another club could be in trouble. We start, one of your top strikers don't want to play because he wants to move there. Another one of your top scorer has been sold to Man United, albeit for a lot of big chunk of money. You don't really get a replacement. You're taking probably 40 goals out of the team. It could be a recipe for disaster. I'll be true. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Because it ties in with Newcastle and it ties on with like Brentford. It ties in with my experiences 30 odd years ago at Leighton Orient. Which maybe you'll come to with regards to the Newcastle thing, and I'll answer it a bit more in depth. But yeah, you don't know. They've found out with a thing with the Europa League, but at the moment it's looking like a good decision to part company with Postecoglou. He's gone out on the back of it, but there was one of them. You can't do that. What he said. This is just a complete nonsense. I knew I was right. We didn't really have a chance. So I gave up to concentrate on the cup, so I gave up the league to concentrate on the cup. Well, you nearly went down, mate. You know what I mean? You're only lucky that there were three worse teams that you didn't, and football's not like that. So whereby, well, I'm not going to concentrate on that. You prepare right for everything. You prepare and compete in every single game, and you look to win every game. Um, you can't pick and choose the games you think you're going to win. There's probably very few teams in history of the whole of football that could actually do that and turn it on at will. Um, but at the moment, it's looking like a good decision. I think he's started really well, and he's coming across as he normally did at Brentford. He come across really well in the media.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe this guy's got a PhD in emotional intelligence, because for me, he's right up there.
Yeah, massively. I rate Frank highly. I think we've sung his praises to a degree on previous episodes. I think it could be one of the best signings of the summer, not just for Spurs, for the teams in the league. In general, we'll see how they get on when Europe kicks in, etc. Hopefully, as you say, they got key players back from injury, like the centre backs, who we all know that you rate very highly and rightly so. So if they can stay fit, yeah, who knows? A very good start, definitely. Well, we're coming to the end of this short episode. We'll pick up. We're going to record another one this evening at least, and we'll pick up a little bit more on team starts of the season. As John says, Newcastle, maybe Arsenal, possibly Man United will get a mention. So once you've watched this one, as and when it's been uploaded, please carry on because there'll be at least one more. So thank you very much from me for the short term. See you again shortly.
All right, see you in a bit, Rob. Thanks for giving us your time, and everyone, thanks for watch, like, share, subscribe. We're off and running for a new season. We'll be back shortly. See you in a few minutes.